Bonjour tout le monde, je m'appelle Donnie Wanders et aujourd'hui je suis allée à Tadoussac, Quebec. To Tadoussac, we have to cross the river, the Saguenay, and it looks like I just missed the ferry crossing, so I can see it leaving, pulling away from the dock, but I'll be catching the next one, which I think is in about 40 minutes time, so I might hop out and just have a look around. Another ferry, that might be the right ferry, I'm not sure. And there's Tadoussac, which is where we're going.
Continue on Tadoussac, Quebec 138 for 1.5 kilometers.
It's a little bit windy, so I just nipped inside the ferry. There's a few seats here. There's a band playing on the deck. They're just getting set up. I think we're going to be pulling away in just a few minutes. So there's the wheelhouse, where the crew is busily at work. And in this direction, this is where the Saguenay River meets the St. Lawrence River. It's so cool. The mountains are so lumpy. And then if we look over on this side, that's the St. Lawrence. So that road over there is where I came from. And this is where I'm headed. This ferry, by the way, is a free ferry, which is kind of nice. Some of the ferries here do charge to cross the river, but this one, this isn't one of them. This is just considered part of the highway system here. And as you can see, we're approaching the dock already. It's like, I feel like it's about a 5 to 10 minute crossing. It's very short. There's some very brave sea kayakers down there. It's very windy today. And we are just about to dock. There's my car. The only red car. scooted down below decks to get back in my car. Had a nice lunch in Tadoussac, which Tadoussac is a small town that is very touristy. It's very busy today, but I had found a spot in a small cafe, and now I'm doing this short trail, which I think is less than a kilometer or about a kilometer. And I'm not sure where it takes me. I think it's just in the forest. And then I think we'll cut through town and hit another trail that kind of goes down near the wharf. It has been raining a little bit, like it just started. So I have my raincoat with me, but we'll see how far I make it if it starts to rain. Also, I'm walking uphill. Can you tell? I just came up all these stairs below me to this high point and turned around. I can't believe how much you can see from up here. There's the whole town. It's amazing. This little trail, by the way, is a loop off of the first trail that I took. But that's quite a view down to the town of Tadoussac and over this way as well. Can't really see the water. I can kind of see glimpses of it through the trees behind me here. But I'm hoping that the view, it might get better up here. I'm not sure. I've walked just a little farther. Sorry for the wind. Such a windy day. And this is a really cool view. You can see the ferry terminal where we crossed, and a ferry is just coming in. Up that way is the Saguenay. Of course, out this way, which you can't really see from here, is the St. Lawrence. But there's that ferry just coming in to dock. Wow, this is really cool. These circles that are kind of down below me here, that's a fish farm. And I haven't explored it. I'm not going to explore it, but it's kind of neat that you can see it from up here. All right, I'm going to carry on in the wind, but no rain at the moment. I've just come around the loop. The ferry terminal is behind me, and I can see a little bit of water just in front of me. So let's go take a look at that. In the woods, it's not windy, but I think we're about to could get very gusty out here where it's exposed. Awesome. So there is the marina, or the port at Tadoussac Beach. You might be able to hear some music. Apparently there is a song festival happening in Tadoussac this weekend, which explains why it's so busy down there, although I think it's pretty busy most weekends of the year. It's a great view of that little harbor. And that red building down there is the pretty iconic Hotel de Tadoussac. When I was here in 2017, our ship docked. I think it was docked at the wharf, actually. It was one of the few places that we could dock, like right at the wharf, I think. No, I'm wrong. It didn't. We had to take, the ship was docked just off out there somewhere, and we did take Zodiacs to the wharf. I remember it was an easy landing. We didn't have to like traipse through any swamps or anything. And then we came ashore, had a nice tour with one of the locals, gave us a beautiful tour of the town. It was nighttime, so it wasn't, the streets weren't overly busy, and it was nice and cool. And then I went into the hotel that's just down here, the red building, and just to kind of have a peek in. And it was a piano bar. They have a grand piano in there, and there was this guy just tickling the ivories. So I sat down, a couple of us sat at the bar, and I had a Manhattan, and it was delicious. So I have some very fond memories of Tadoussac. Just finishing that loop and back on the straight part of the trail that carries on, I think, into town. I did get a couple of raindrops on me, but I'm gonna carry on, take a chance. It's really nice in here. It's hard to feel the rain when you have this beautiful canopy above you. But the sky is looking kind of dark, so I might get wet, but that's okay. I'm finishing up the first trail, and as predicted, it leads right into town. This is kind of an odd area. A couple of buildings here are under construction, it looks like. Renovations. Yeah, that trail is part of the Saguenay Fjord National Park, and the trail that I'm just walking to now is also part of the park. So that's why I'm exploring those two trails today. Well, I have entered the second of the two trails that I am going to explore here. And I have to say, it's kind of weird walking through the woods and hearing a band play. It's not your typical quiet solace time in the forest, but I kind of like it, mainly because it's not very loud up here. It just kind of sounds like background noise, and it's really, really strange to be able to hear like a rock concert while you're strolling through the woods. So this trail is a loop that starts at kind of the land's end of a wharf, and I think it just again loops through woods. There might be some viewpoints, and I think it deposits us at the end of the wharf, but we're about to find out. What a cool place. I just love a bedrock beach. Oh man, the colors of the cliffs. I wasn't expecting this. I keep getting surprised by these trails, I think because I don't do any real research into them. And if I basically choose my trails, or I have been on this trip, choosing them based on the length and the difficulty rating, and then of course the weather, my energy level, all that stuff. And that's how I've been picking trails. But then I haven't really, beyond the trail name, length, and difficulty rating, I haven't really done any research. I don't know if it's a forest trail, if it's a coast trail. So it's a really nice surprise when I get to the trail and then I'm like, oh wow, this is here and that's here. It's kind of a fun way to choose trails. I wouldn't recommend it for random trails, but when you're in a national park, if the trail is part of the national park, it's almost certainly going to have a certain standard. So I'm reassured by that. Like, I know it's very, very difficult to get lost, for example. The trail conditions tend to be very well maintained, if not perfectly maintained. There are nice things like boardwalks and stairs, like what I'm walking on now. So yeah, it's easy to just kind of randomly choose trails in a national park, and then you're treated to surprise views like this. That was cool. Seeing belugas, but I'm now coming to the end of this trail. I can hear the music just up ahead. Not sure where I'm supposed to go. This way. So once I get out here, I think I'm gonna head back to the car. So I will let you know when I get back there. How long I hiked, and some of the highlights. As you can see, I made it back to the car. Those two little hikes were about 2 kilometers, and then with just the little walk back to the car, that added 1 kilometer. So it was only 3 kilometers, and I got 2 hikes in. Saw some awesome views all over the peninsula. I think you would call that a peninsula of Tadoussac, and saw belugas, which is pretty magical. If you're ever in Tadoussac, those 2 trails, although they are administered by Parks Canada, or CPAC is what it's called here in Quebec, there doesn't appear to be a gatehouse or anything like that. So I think those are free to the public. So if you're ever here, by all means check them out, because they're short. There is a lot of elevation, but they're very short, so relatively easy. So I'm now sitting in line for the ferry, and I'm gonna head back to my campsite. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you for watching, and Donnie Wanders. We'll see you in the next one.